Chelsea!
Look at that. You've even got Darren rocking in his, I suppose, modern day rocking chair. Really.
I've seen after what Gary Bailey said.
I know. Anyway, we are the Chelsea FanCast. I am Stanford Chidge. This is Darren Mantle. This is Ross Mooring. This is Pablo. And this is the legend. It is Walter Otten.
Thank you.
And they, somewhere over there on the benches, who we love. But we are now going to get into the meat and two veg of the show, which is us moaning probably for 20 minutes about Newcastle versus Chelsea. But I think the first question I really want to ask is, why did we lose? I mean, after all, even Jose didn't seem to know why we'd played so badly. Darren, you're itching to...
well, it's the first time I think Mourinho has said this season that we haven't been a better team. He said it after the Super Cup. I think he said it after the
best team lost, is what
he's never really admitted that we played badly until now.
He had a face like thunder, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he looks quite cross there, actually. He's not the kind of man that I would want to upset, actually. I think maybe our players should take note of this.
But he doesn't seem... He said that he didn't say anything after the match. He just said there was nothing really to say.
Yeah, I think because he was so cross that he thought that if he did say something, it would be permanent and fatal.
Yeah.
I kind of get that impression.
But he's not the sort of person, I think, that does irrationally do things like the Alex Ferguson hairdryer treatment. I think he's probably actually
he's not Scottish,
quite good
though,
with
that's
them and
probably
things.
why.
So.
I mean, they don't have hairdryers like that in Portugal, I suspect. But anyway, I've got some theories, because I am a man who likes a theory or five, and I've got quite a few, and I'm going to run through them. Number one theory is it is the curse of St James's Park. That's no wins in 4 attempts for Jose. And actually, more to the point, we haven't beaten Newcastle properly for a while. They are perhaps our new bogey side.
So we beat them.
We're allowed to say bogey, do you think?
Yeah, if you want.
It's not on the list.
2 years ago, we had a very convincing 3-0 win up there.
The start of December.
Yeah.
Kalu scored, Sturridge
You're
scored.
such a pedant.
I was going to say, I do agree with you, though.
I
was going to say in the first half, and what we're talking, that's what I say, that we don't seem to play well up there.
No, we don't.
We used to under Ranieri.
Yeah, but under Mourinho, one of the times, if not both times, we already won the league, and one time we lost the league there when we drew, when I think Good Johnson had a shot when we went just past the post.
All right, I've got another theory. A third theory is, remember, we're poo in November.
It's true.
Is it the curse of November coming back, Walter? I hope not.
I'll tell you the thing that I struggle with the most is that Newcastle as a club are in total disarray. And it hasn't been featured much in the London media for certain, but the game they had against Man City in the League Cup when we beat the Arsenal, they basically had a section where they were going to go and protest against Ashley.
That's right.
And Ashley employed security guards to stop people going in there, and there was full-on rucks and all that sort of thing. So as a club off the pitch, they're in complete disarray. They don't like Ashley, and Ashley has banned a number of the press. The thing that gets me,
and the fans forum, he's banned that.
I would love a Newcastle fan to tell me why they have this.
Hey, we always knew that was going to happen. Oh dear. What we need is Velcro. Or Darren and Walter could just sit there for the rest of the evening and hold out like. We'll be back with you in the break for that one, I think. I'll just put it down, don't worry.
No, it looks good like that.
Okay, I'm loving this.
Raise it up about 2 feet.
So it says Chelsea FanCast Live.
Are we?
Yeah, Chelsea FanCast Live. Just put it down.
No,
honestly,
we made our choice.
Anyway, so what I was saying was I would love a Newcastle fan to explain to me some of that disappointment in Ashley and all of his numpties, because he's pumped in about 110 mil into the club.
Yeah. But he strips him of a lot of it as well. When he sells people, he takes all the money. When he said he was going to give Padre money, he never did. And they had one good season where I think the fans thought actually his policy seems to be working. But I mean, when they sold Carroll, I think what Padre said was,
all this is very nice,
Darren Mantle appearing next week on the Newcastle Football FanCast.
I don't want
you
to
said, will someone explain to you?
No, I didn't. I asked the question, why did we lose? And I think actually, let's get back to the point. I know Pablo's itching to come in. I think, the bottom line is we weren't at it. Pablo, what do you reckon?
I was going to say, to get back to the point is that off the pitch they're having a nightmare. So on the pitch, I was hoping for them to crumble, and it was a nightmare. Go on, Pablo.
Yeah. What was your question?
Well, I think they weren't at it. I think they weren't at it, and I have to say that I think it was a very complacent performance. They seemed to just turn up, too many of them put in poor performances, thinking they could just stroll up there. And the interesting thing, I've done a bit of homework on this, because when I'm angry, I work. When the going gets tough, the tough work hard.
We don't like you when you're angry.
No, you don't like me when I'm angry, and I might even go green. But Jose pointed this out this week, because he said that, look, this club has not been at the race in the Premier League for the last few years. 6th was it 6th the year before, 4th last year, you know, and it's because of and he was making the point, it was because of performances like that, and I just thought, blimey, that's right, it's inconsistency.
He was also, though, I mean, he was 3rd last year, but also, he said we were 20 points behind in December last year, which wasn't true, but he exaggerated a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think away from home, what is it, 1 win in 5 they were saying that we've had.
It hasn't been good.
Not been good. But that was a shoddy performance. But you know what, Ross? You know, I think the worst thing about losing to Newcastle on Saturday, I mean, how can you lose to a team playing somebody called Anita? I mean, you know, they've got Anita playing for them. How can you lose to a club that you know... How can you lose? How can you lose to a club that plays something called Anita?
I think you nailed it on you know, when you're raising it, that we didn't outwork them.
No, I mean, actually, to be fair to Anita, he might have a silly name, but at least he managed. At least he put that cross in for Remy to wallop that ball, and it was a good shot.
Yeah, and like the ball for the first goal was absolutely superb as well. I mean, I actually commented before it had gone in that it was a cracking ball. It was a bit disappointing that Ivanovic played everyone on side.
No, it was Lampard who played everyone on side.
Ivanovic was a foot behind everyone else.
You know what we need? What we need? We need a roadie. We need a roadie with like a long hair and a Motorhead T-shirt to run onto the set and either, like, you know, take one for the team and lie there for the whole part like that, or just stick it on with some sticky black plastic. Maybe that's the problem. We didn't use some Blue Peter sticky black plastic, for those of you old enough to have a clue what I'm talking about. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is somebody who probably needs some sticky black plastic. David Luiz. I've just typed this, David Luiz, oh dear. I mean, I write a really lovely, nice blog on David Luiz this week, praising him to the hill. And then he does that to me. I mean, how could he do it? I took that really personally on Saturday, Pablo. I really did.
He does it time and time again, and it's becoming worrying because he doesn't seem to be able to learn from his own mistakes. He's clearly got all the ability there. He's clearly a fantastic defender. He's clearly better than Gary Cahill, but there's something in his mind that
he's just sometimes... he doesn't have that discipline, though. I don't think he wants to be a defender. I don't think he wants to be a centre-back some of the time, and he does seem to lose concentration sometimes.
They're still holding it. I love it. I'm impressed with your dedication.
We're afraid to let it go. You've been shouting already. You admit to being a bit of a diva tonight.
I am a bit of a diva tonight, I have to say. I don't know why. It's just maybe that time of the month. What can I say? But I've got a better theory as to why. Actually, I'm actually quite concerned about this because I do love David Luiz. I think he's a superb player. I've got another theory, Walter. I'm full of theories. Do you want to hear my theory?
Yeah,
want to hear my theory?
Hear it, yeah.
My theory is that, you know, David Luiz is a flair player. He's an instinctive player. He goes on the pitch and he doesn't know what he's going to do. He just does it.
Swashbuckling.
He's brilliant. He's clever. He's a brilliant player like that. And obviously, he's been on the naughty step for a few matches because he's been very naughty. Yeah. And I just wonder if Mourinho has shot his confidence a bit because he played like a player who didn't know what he was doing. His confidence seemed shot, and he's thinking too hard about what he has to do. When actually, he's the kind of player just say, "I'll just go and play an extra game because you're brilliant.
Do what you do." I might be wrong here, but I think he is the only player that didn't clap the Chelsea fans after Arsenal.
Yeah, he was.
That is true.
Despite being told by Steve Holland to do it, he walked straight past him.
Not a happy boy.
I think his ego's taken a bit of a bruising.
But
all great players know they can always get better, and I think there's maybe a slight bit of maybe overconfidence where he thinks, you know, I'm already great. I don't need to change my game. No one should be telling me what I should be doing. But I think, as I said, every great player knows that they can always get better.
And a number of us have spent quite a long time saying, actually, if he sorted out the rubbish, stopped sort of playing up to trying to make a Luiz brand and started concentrating on his football, he could be the best centre-back in the world. We all know that, but he's got to do it.
Yeah. As you said in your blog, we wouldn't have won the Champions League without him because he put.
Did I say that in my blog?
I think you did.
Blimey. Did you read it then?
I did, yeah.
Oh, I love it.
It's very good.
I think as well that you're talking about conspiracies in Newcastle United. It's Mark Waller's favourite two things, isn't it?
What?
Well, A, conspiracies. He came out with about 10 of them last time I was on the show. And B, he kept saying Newcastle United. You must remember.
There we go. So there we go. It is a pattern, isn't it? I mean, you know, the other thing that really struck me, and I think some people, it must be something I read in the papers or something, I don't know. But again, this whole Mata and Oscar thing seemed to be preying on my mind a bit. And in the context, really, of Torres, and it's just kind of appearing to me that maybe when Mata plays, he doesn't actually get the best out of Torres Is this another theory that's gone a bit mad?
I think it's more to do with Oscar, actually. I think it's more to do with Oscar.
Right.
He's incredibly effective in the middle and less effective out wide.
So playing Mata in the middle
limits Oscar, and Oscar's been our best attacking player so far this year. So.
I think we need to accept that playing those three as an attacking trio, you're not going to get the best out of them individually. I mean, they can still play well together, but the balance isn't quite there like it was in Jose's first reign, when we had the two wingers down the flanks.
I mean, I hate to say it, because, for example, the obvious example of two players who can't play together is Gerrard and Lampard, and I firmly denied that for their entire England careers. I said, no, great players can play with great players, it doesn't matter, blah, 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 blah.
I agree.
But I tell you what, after watching that on Saturday, it's the first time I actually really thought, blimey, maybe we do have to make a choice between Oscar and Mata.
We
maybe
didn't have to last year.
Maybe they don't. Well,
they played quality with each other last year.
Well, that is true.
Not in every
but how many
game.
goals
No,
did Torres
game,
score
no.
for us in the Premier League last year?
Well, not many, but how many did anyone else score?
Well, that's.
I think the thing is, with that whole Gerrard Lampard thing, it was Mourinho that actually clicked it for Chelsea, having like McAlady holding, Essien doing the sort of, he could do both and Lampard could attack more. And we never tried that with Lampard Gerrard for the England thing. You had Mourinho, I think Lampard and Gerrard could have played together. I think good players can always play together, but you might have to tamper a few things around them. And like I was saying, you can rely on Mata. He was our best player last season. You can rely on Oscar. I don't think you can say that they can't play together, but maybe like Pablo was saying, they put Mata in the middle, puts Oscar slightly out, and Oscar been playing well there.
On the right or the left for Brazil.
No,
but look at when
he plays in the middle. Yeah.
For Brazil?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, when I saw him playing the Confederations Cup, he wasn't.
I think he was.
It was Hulk on the right and
Neymar on the
All
left.
right, okay.
Either way,
boys, I tell you what, this is far too analytical for me.
Yeah. Should we move on to the benches? I know
How do you retain this information?
Let's talk to the benches. We never get any sense out of them. What are you lot? What's on your mind, people?
Go on the benches.
Well, it's all about David Luiz. They're talking about at the moment. JP McCrate says that he's shocking. G Wilson CFC says bring in Cahill. Plucker says Luiz is an unpredictable player, liable to cause damage if not kept in check by others. Somebody said that Cahill was always a 7 out of 10, whereas Luiz is either a 5 or a 9.
That's good.
On Twitter, at Moto Photoshop.
Photoshop?
Yes. Has said that Cahill and Terry should both start. Luiz is liability and tries too many Hollywood passes. At Eastupper3 has said he gets the impression that Luiz thinks Newcastle were probably beneath him. And finally, at Elisa24 has said, why do we single out a player when the whole team played so badly?
Can I say one last thing, Cheddar?
Yeah?
Can we ask Andy Silverman, because he's the best person on Mixler, and now he's here, he can't Mixler as well. What's his thoughts on it?
What are your thoughts, Andy? On Luiz?
No, I think I agree with you. 5 or 9.
He agrees 5 or 9.
I thought that's a really good point.
It's a good observation.
All right, okay. What I will say to them is go and read my blog on David Luiz, which is on the Chelsea FanCast.com website, because I'd like to give the guy a chance. I think he's got all the talent in the world, but I am very worried about him. I'm also worried about Lampard and Cole. But before we get down that alley, what I want to talk about, I think to wrap this horrible experience up, and I'm not talking about sitting around a table with these guys. That comes later. What I really want to just to sum this all up by saying, I actually think that losing this match could well be a blessing in disguise. Not least because I think it will make them think that or make them realise, and I'm sure Jose will make them realise this, that they are not the finished article by any stretch of the imagination. And I suspect that they're going to get a severe kick up the are we allowed to say backside? We are, aren't we?
Backside's
Well,
fine.
backside's too late now.
Yeah, okay, well, we just said it. There we go.
Rectum's fine.
The other thing I'd like to just point out is that, for the doom merchants that seem to proliferate Facebook, bless them, and
You go on that.
I do. Well, we have to. It's a duty.
Stress.
Yeah, we promote the
What
show.
does the Reverend Bossingwa think? That's what
No,
I want.
I would love to know what the Reverend.
Can I go
Bossingwa
first
thinks.
rant when you finish this,
You
chick?
can. No, you can't. 'Cause we're about to wrap up. But anyway,
We've got 4 minutes left.
Anyway, look, the point is this: we have got the same number of points. When we went into that match, we got the same number of points, right, this season
As we
that
did
we
afterwards.
had in the first. I've got a stat like that later. But we've got the same number of points this season that we had in Jose's first season at the same stage. So, it's not all doom and gloom. We've lost a match. Don't worry, we'll win plenty more.
But we've lost twice as many matches as we did in Jose's first
Oh,
season.
shut up, you statistical... irritant.
Points win prizes, Darren.
It's so hard to talk to Darren without using any of the words on the band list. But Ross, please don't.
I would have said, can I just...
so I don't
come on,
have
let
to
me
listen to
keep...
him.
Let me... I was going to say...
You didn't even see the match.
How do you know that?
Refer out.
1-0.
We won't get into how many away matches you go to, George, but anyway...
Where were you? Where were you on Saturday? Not at the match. Walter, what do you reckon? Because you're grinning like a Cheshire cat at that one.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Who was last one I was up to Newcastle away? I think it's probably
Where
me
were you
around the
Arsenal
table.
away
We
last
should
week?
let that.
I sold my... Oh, I didn't sell my ticket.
Bring it
Right,
on, Darren.
let's not get into individual.
No, we're fighting already.
Let's let
Where's
Darren.
the love?
I had a good point.
Let's let Darren rant.
I was just going to say though that last time it was only the Man City game, middle of October, we actually lost the game under Mourinho. Then we kept playing. The rest of the season we didn't lose again. So why can't we do the same? And when you look at home games, we don't lose at home. We play very well at home. There's no need to panic. I would be panicking if we're losing home games. I wouldn't care as much when we're drawing and losing away because as long as our home form's good, unlike people like Man United,
There we go.
what's the problem?
I knew that if we put you under enough pressure, that you would actually talk sense. And I'm going to have to applaud that. Actually, I think we should all applaud Darren for rising to the challenge. He's sweating a bit. We need. Can we have our makeup?
It is hot in there. Water took off his jumper.
I might have to
do the
in
same.
all seriousness, mate, I totally agree with you. You know, but I think that my whole sentiment behind that really is, you know, don't be so gloomy about this.
But people, we're supporters for a reason. You support a team,
Yeah,
especially when
quite
you're doing
right.
badly. That's the time when you need to get behind a team when it's something like that. You don't leave early and you don't sort of give up. When you put people on Facebook slagging the team off after and everything, it's just... What's the point of doing it, you know?
So, I mean, it's all about instant reactions these days, though, isn't it?
And
like,
it's,
I mean,
it's only 7 days after we beat Arsenal.
I mean, look, one thing I will say, Darren, is that whilst all of that is true, I think people do have a right to speak their mind. And I remember one person who would be in the hump for at least a week about this, and he is no longer with us around this table. But he
wouldn't be here tonight anyway.
He wouldn't. He would be sulking so much he would have done a no-show. Anyway, luckily we all showed up. And we are doing the show for your entertainment and education and whatever else you might get out of it. But we're going to have a quick break now, and we're going to come back in a minute, and we're going to be doing our match awards, commonly known as the Fannies.
Chelsea.
Chelsea!